Countless men have shared a dream of playing under the brightest lights. They all feel they belong. They all feel they've earned it. From freshman football on Wednesdays to college game day on Saturdays, they've been the best of the best, working tirelessly to hone their craft. Exhaustion, injuries, nothing will stop them from reaching their dream. They will not be outworked. They will not let someone take it from them, for they know nothing will be gifted to them. They know that to make it, you've got to take it. They will not be outworked. From scorching summer workouts to pro days, they prepare. The Combine does not hold records. It presents challenges. A draft spot can be earned or lost by tenths of a second. They've worked their whole life for this. Doubt them if you will, but this is no longer just a dream. This is their story.
You are now watching The Franchise on the DML Network.
Welcome into the DML Network. It's your boy Expert, and this is another episode of the Gridiron. We're going to talk about 7 rookies about to enter the Dynasty and how they're going to impact this league. And, of course, you know I don't do this show by myself. You see him on camera. It's my co-host. It's none other than SJ, the co-commish. What's going on, SJ?
What up, Expert?
Yo, good to have you on the show. And, of course, you know we got to have our reporter on scene at all times. It's the other co-commish. It's Tone Dog. What's going on, Tone?
What up, what up, what up?
No doubt. Guys, Gridiron is back, so that means it's almost draft time. We are getting close to the end of another season where we grind in the Dynasty, and we got 7 guys we're going to look at today. And I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I know I'm not. How excited do y'all get when it's time to add some new pieces to your team? Especially SJ, you know, when you have a season where you feel like you're maybe 1 or 2 pieces away from making an impact and making a run there in that division. Do you get excited when you start looking at some of these rookies?
Definitely, because you either in the mode where you're rebuilding or reloading. So draft time, new prospects available definitely is a good time of season for everybody.
No doubt. And Tone Dog, that division that you're in just got a little bit tougher and it got a little bit tighter. Do you have someone in this draft you're looking at you feel can take the Denver Broncos to that next level?
Not just yet. It's still kind of early, Expert, but this is definitely going to be one of the most interesting drafts that we had. We're 2 years out from high stakes. So yeah. When we bring these rookies in, they're really going to be kind of getting into their 3rd year of action. So this is going to be the year where you really want to hit on those 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounders. You got to get you a superstar, somebody that's going to, make an impact on your team directly. Because this is really probably like the last draft that we're going to have until, these guys are probably going into another contract or the season is over. I mean, this is a very important draft. So you really got to kind of hit on these first 3 picks.
No doubt. Tone Dog hit that right on the head, guys. You cannot miss in this draft. This is probably the last draft, and this draft right here, probably the most important ones in the Dynasty as we get ready for high stakes where everything counts. Yes. Every play counts, every snap, every training that you do, every XP that you spend. It's so important as you get ready for high stakes to see where you slot to pick in Madden 19. You don't want to end up with the Buffalo Bills. Shout out to the homie Hamilton. All right, guys, but we always have a sponsor. We always have a sponsor for the show. And this episode is sponsored by Uncle D's Buffalo Wing Sauce. Are you tired of flavorless wings? Put some Uncle D's in your mouth. All right, guys, let's get into it. The first rookie on the board is Laquan Hood. This is the defensive end coming out of Auburn, 6'6", 264 pounds. And this is the balanced left end coming out of Auburn who plays the run well and also can go after the quarterback. This is a guy projected to go in the 1st round, mid to high 1st round. SJ, what'd you like about this kid coming out of Auburn?
I like everything about him. Auburn has produced some quality starters in the league over the years, so I'm sure he'll follow suit. Is he projected a top 5 pick, you think?
I think he's definitely in that top half of the draft. They do have him predicted as an early 1st rounder. I would be very surprised if this guy slips past number 10.
Yeah, I would love to have him on my team, but I don't think I'll be picking that high, especially without a pick at all.
Yeah. And Tone Dog, what are you hearing about Laquan as he's coming out of Auburn?
Well, SEC, baby. This is Gus Malzahn's pride and joy. This guy is a very, very athletic end. He kind of reminds you of Clowney. I mean, he's already 6'6", 264 pounds. He's got great hands. He's got deceptive speed, great use of hands again. But the knock on him is that he takes some plays off kind of like Clowney. Like, so when, it's time to run the ball, that's not really his forte. He wants to rush the passer, and he actually does it very, very well.
Yeah, and Tone Dog, you talked about the comparisons to Clowney. He got that early on in his career, but you also talked about he likes to take that play off here or there. When the ball goes opposite of him, he's not really chasing it down. And we saw Clowney when he first came in the league. He kind of had that same mentality when he first got to Houston, and then J.J. Watt got a hold of him. So do you think it's important that Laquan goes to a team that kind of has that veteran presence on that D-line to kind of explain to him, while you're on this field, you got to give 110% because you never know what could happen. You chase something down, the ball gets free, you pick it up and make a big play for your team. Is that key for him, Tone, to go to a team that's got that veteran?
Of course, yeah. He's going to need some kind of veteran leader to kind of get him along the way. This guy is young. He's super athletic. But again, at the same time, he's kind of raw on the football field and maybe in life. He's going to need somebody to say, hey, young man, let's go lift weights. Let's go do this. And when it's time to run, we need to do it. This is a team sport. All 11 to the ball. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. And you're watching this film. I mean, the guy just makes plays all over the place. And he's doing it in a conference in the SEC, SJ, where it's basically the NFL JV. You're talking about teams that have NFL talent all over the field. And this guy shows up every single week, week in and week out, making plays left and right. Do you have teams that maybe will reach for this guy knowing that his upside is so much bigger than what we already see right now at Auburn?
Right, absolutely. Coming out of Auburn, you either want a high motor, high character guy like Takeo Spikes. You want your player to fit that mold, or you could be the complete opposite, like a Nick Fairley, where he might take a player or two off. Good player, solid player, starter, but he's going to give you his all every down.
No doubt, guys. That's Laquan Hood, the defensive end, coming out of Auburn. But let's move on to the next guy that is on the list, and it's Michael Matthews. It's the right outside linebacker coming out of Nebraska, and I love this kid. 6 foot. I'd like him to be a little bit taller, but he's 233 pounds. And what I love about Michael is he is a balanced linebacker. This is a guy that can walk on the field day one and start for your football team. He is projected to be an early first rounder. And the way linebackers have gone here, Tone Dog, I expect Michael to be a top 5 pick in the dynasty. What are you hearing about this kid?
Well, I do too, but it's weird that you say that, Expert, because this guy actually started at defensive end as well as those right out. And you got to know, like those right outside linebackers at 6 foot. So he's kind of like a tweener a little bit. He's only 233 pounds. So he's not a great cover skill guy, but he's a great pass rusher. He's got a lot of speed. His finesse move should be pretty high. And hopefully that strength is good, but he's got a great motor, and I look forward to seeing him on the field.
No doubt. And this is a kid that got some comparison to Von Miller, that guy that really isn't going to cover a bunch of ground, but when he's rushing the quarterback, that's his element. Maybe he gets into that scheme where he's that right outside linebacker in a 3-4 where he's just screaming off the end every single play. And SJ, do you feel like those guys, when they get put in the box in college as a guy that can't really cover, or he's just a pass rusher, that kind of hinders teams maybe to take a step back and say, we need to rethink this. We run a 4-3. We need a guy that can do both.
Absolutely. Like you were saying, you can't really measure game speed. So I think he has true game speed. He may not have elite combine, pro day, wow speed, but when the ball is snapped, he's gonna try to get there.
Yeah, and this is one of those kids that he was a locker room guy, and they talked about it at the University of Nebraska about just being that guy that was a great teammate, always kept that defense pumped up, even when and Nebraska had some tough games this past year where they're just getting their teeth kicked in, and he goes out and makes a play and kind of changes the momentum. Is that that's really the kind of guy you want, Tone Dog? That guy that's going to be the great teammate, walk in that locker room every day and put his hat on and go to work.
Yeah, every team expert is looking for that spark plug or that leader. And this is the guy that, he's on you when you're on the sideline. If you guys are down, he's not letting you hang your head. You know what I mean? He's pumping you up, letting you know there's always another play and to play for the next play. So this is a great guy. He's going to be a great fit for any team that he goes to. Again, he was a great student, athlete while in college. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy do some great things along the defense.
No doubt. And I certainly hope there's a bunch of teams that passes on Michael Matthews, because we would love to see him in Houston, Texas, to team up with Komar and Roby Peterson. But that is Michael Matthews. That's the outside linebacker coming out of Nebraska. Next up, it's Morgan Spock coming out of UCLA. And this is the cornerback, 6'1", 207. He's expected to go early first round, but I watched some tape on this guy, SJ, and I think sometimes he gets lost in the moment when he is out there on the island. And in the Dynasty, you cannot afford to do that with some of these wide receivers that we have running up and down the sideline. Is that something you think that teams can work on and maybe fix that deer in headlights kind of look when he's in the big moment and he's got that big wide receiver out there?
Yeah, I think that's something that can be fixed, depending on the GM and team that he falls to. Cornerbacks go early, if not number one, if they fit the mold of a prototype cornerback, which he does.
Yeah, and this is definitely a prototype cornerback. Big kid, he's physical, he loves to be around the football. He just has that one knock on him. Tone Dog, what are you hearing about Morgan coming out of UCLA?
Well, Dr. Spock is what they actually call him. But no, a great guy, 6'1", 207 pounds. He actually was moved from safety by Jim Moore before he left UCLA. So when you say that he's kind of out there on the island, that's something that he's going to have to shore up. He's a great cover corner with great zone skills, obviously coming from the safety position. So if you're going to ask him to play man, you're definitely going to have to build that up. He's kind of like a run support corner a little bit, because he can play the run. He'll stick his nose around the ball and play along the line of scrimmage. But this guy has a great motor. He's a great hitter. Again, 6'1", 270 pounds, 207. But I like this tall cornerback coming out of UCLA.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. This guy loves to be physical, and that's jamming a wide receiver, is going in, putting his hat on the running back. And he's a West Coast guy from California, goes to UCLA. Does this guy end up in Los Angeles with Taz and those Rams, SJ?
He very well could. But the funny thing about that, I don't know if UCLA is known for, pumping out all-pro DBs. Who's the best DB out of UCLA? Altron Werner? I don't know.
Maybe Werner. You're right. I mean, it's not DBU. It's definitely not what it is. But this kid is from a small school in California. He didn't get a lot of talent. He didn't get a lot of people scouting, knocking his door down. UCLA actually came in late in the recruiting process and picked him up. And you heard Tone Dog talk about it. He went from safety to corner because of need. They actually had the freshman come in last year at safety, was balling out, so they moved him to corner. And this guy just performed so well, except in some of those key spots where he got a big wide receiver where he just kind of looked lost. And you got to get that fixed if he's going to step into the Dynasty. But that is Morgan, Dr. Spock. Thanks, Tone, for clearing that up.
Taz definitely needs some help, so maybe he does end up with the Rams.
And that's what I thought. Taz needed some help. Maybe he ends up with Morgan Spock. But that is the cornerback coming out of UCLA. Next up, this is the best left tackle in the draft. I'm just going to start with that. And it's not because I'm a Wisconsin Badger fan and this kid is coming out of Wisconsin. But Percy Martin, 6'6", 310 pounds. This is a pass block / run blocker, and it goes in that order. I will tell you his one knock on him is that he does lack that drive in the run blocking, which is kind of strange coming from Wisconsin because they are such a run-heavy team. But Tone Dog, this guy here has scouts drooling over him to play left tackle for somebody. What are you hearing about Percy Martin?
Correct. Yeah, this guy will definitely be top 5. He's got long arms, so he's got great extension. Can't wait to kind of see him on the field again. You mentioned it, expert, 6'6", 310 pounds of straight road grading. I wouldn't say he's a zone blocker, so that might be why he's not the best blocker on runs. But this guy at left tackle, he will keep your quarterback clean. He will keep somebody like Hood off of him. I mean, he's definitely a top 5 pick. Just can't wait to kind of see where he goes. And again, you mentioned it about those whiskey offensive linemen. Those guys, I mean, they just churn them out every year. Top-notch guys.
Yeah, you're talking about school that's brought you Joe Thomas, has brought you Travis Frederick. I mean, so many top-notch offensive linemen. They just breed them there in Wisconsin. And Percy Martin is the reason he went to Wisconsin. This is a kid who was a top recruit coming out of high school, knew what he wanted to do, went to Wisconsin, learned how to be a better blocker. I wish he was the same type of run blocker as he is pass blocker. But when you have a left tackle, your main job is to protect that quarterback. And this guy right here, I know he's not the flashy pick, SJ. You know, everybody wants that, you know, that Hageman speed wide receiver. They want the Welch. You know, they want all these guys that can run up and down the field, or they want that flashy guy in the backfield or the superstar quarterback. But if you don't have a left tackle to block your quarterback, you can eliminate a lot of wins because your quarterback's going to get hurt. Ask people that have played against Jadeveon Clowney. He's got 21 sacks. There's left tackles in this league that need to go, and Percy Martin would be a great fit. And one team that and we talked about Welch, one team I think this guy fits in real well is that Detroit Lions system with our homie HBO/Cinemax. Can you see Percy Martin blocking for Olshansky, getting the ball down the field to Welch?
Everything you said is on the money. If I had the number 1 overall pick, I would definitely take Percy Martin. Went to Wisconsin, born and raised in Wisconsin. He's going to protect you. He's not going to miss a game like those frail 95 speed wide receivers will. Once they get hit, miss 6 games, your whole season is over. This guy won't miss a game for 4 or 5 years. So,
this is a trooper. This is a guy that is going to supplant your offensive line. I don't know if y'all can tell, but Expert loves this guy, Percy Martin. Would love to see him. I got a very young offensive line in Houston, but we would love to see Percy Martin. He is going to make a team much better, and it's from day one. That's Percy Martin coming out of Wisconsin, the best left tackle in the draft. Pay attention, Dynasty. You want Percy Martin on your team. But let's move on to the next guy, number 5 slot. All right, guys, this is the one asterisk on the list if we had one. It's the halfback JT Rice. And JT Rice has not had the best college career, Tone Dog. He's actually got kicked off of the football team for academic violations. He was suspended very early in the year, came back, didn't get it right, and was kicked off the team and decided instead of trying to go back to school, he's going to declare for the NFL draft and come out and see what kind of feelers that he's getting from the league. And if you ask people, this is a balanced back. This is a kid. He's not very tall. He's in that 5'10", 5'11" range. If he stand on his tippy toes, he might get to 6 foot. But this is a kid that's a balanced back. He's going to catch the ball out the backfield. He's going to run in between the tackles. But is that brain and that head of his going to hold him back from the dynasty, Tone Dog? Yeah,
it's weird. Coming out of Stanford with David Shaw's system, they recruit these guys who are supposed to be 3.8 to 4.0 or better. So it really kind of surprised me when he got kicked out because that's really not what David Shaw's program is about. But at least on the football field, if you want to get back to that, this is definitely a power back. Looks like he's like 5'11", 216. Not great speed, okay acceleration, but he's actually got great strength. He's got a great stiff arm. And, he's coming out of just that power eye formation football. So if you're a running team which needs a great number 1 running back, I would take a look at him. probably with a keen eye, though. Again, he did get kicked off of the team, which only really recruits high-profile, excellent, off-the-field kind of guys. So you're going to have to do your due diligence as a GM, make sure he's the right fit, and, make sure that contract is right for any BS.
Yeah, and you talked about Coach Shaw. If you get kicked off with a team at Stanford, something's got to be wrong, because that's not the type of character that he gets. And
Correct.
So, for you to get kicked off that team, they probably try to do everything for JT. But you're right. This is going to have to be a running back that fits your scheme, SJ. If you're not a power running team, JT is not your running back. If you would get out on the edge and sweep and counter and trying to get out and use your speed to your advantage, JT's not the guy. But if you want to go from guard to guard and just run people over and run smash mouth football, JT Rice is your guy. And SJ, just explain how important it is to have a guy that on 3rd and 3, you can hand him the ball and go get a first down.
Yeah, he's not a burner, but he's a do-it-all back, and he does have the brain, just needs the discipline. I think his problem was when class was over, the things he did, they got him kicked off the team, not necessarily the books and the knowledge, but on the field in the right system with the good offensive line, I think he can produce. So it'll be interesting to see where he falls in the draft if he comes back.
And there are some teams that need a running back, and I expect this guy to go in the top 16. I don't expect him to fall much farther than that because of the tape. You see the tape. Yeah. The guy has talent. There's no doubt about it. When he puts the helmet on, JT Rice is a player. But is all the extra stuff just going to get in the way of JT Rice's career? Is he going to be that guy that's just a distraction in your locker room? And that's really, you cannot afford that going into high stakes. You've got to have. Go ahead,
if you have reckless coach and GM like a HBO. I don't see him working in that system, because he's just will run him into the ground and probably make him upset. And no curfew, no rules. He'll be cursing each other out the sidelines. Yeah, we don't want to see any of that. So he needs to go the solid foundation to succeed.
Yeah, be lit at 8:00 in the morning trying to play a game. Yeah, we definitely don't need to see that.
We don't want to see that
for JT Rice. We need what's best for JT Rice. We need to go him to like that. Like an Addy 5. He needs to be in that Addy 5 system. That King Vitamin type of group. Lay in the cut, be quiet, just do your work, and let's go win us a ring. But definitely JT Rice is a top back. And we'll see where, his troubles off the field get him on the field. He reminds me of the kid coming out of that went to the Dallas Cowboys a couple years ago, the defensive end that got in trouble and just lost draft pick after draft pick, cost him money. We'll see. He's got some time before the draft to make a good name for himself. I really think those sit-down meetings with GMs are going to be super important for JT Rice, because right now scouts have a bad taste in their mouth because Tone Dog, Shaw at Stanford has a huge respect with most GMs in the league. When they talk to him, he's just upfront with those guys and honest. And if he gives you a bad report, it's going to take a lot for you to get back on GM's good side if the guy from Stanford is telling you he's not one of my guys.
For sure. And Expert, when it comes to draft day, the first college coach that they have on the panel is David Shaw. So
no doubt.
He's in touch with every GM. Every GM will call David Shaw, personally on the cell phone to find out about a player. So you're right. If something is wrong, David Shaw is going to let him know. And, this guy's really just got to change it up. He's going to have to get better. He's going to have to do the right thing and put his nose down and, tell the story. So when these GMs ask him what really happened, he's going to have to tell the truth and, and be a man and own up and just start doing the right thing.
Yeah, because I don't think him learning the playbook is the problem. It's him thinking that the play he comes up with in his own head is better than what's in the playbook is what the problem is. So if he fixes that, he'll be all right.
Yeah, no doubt. The guys at Gridiron are rooting for you, JT. Get your head straight. Love to see you in the Dynasty. All right, guys. That's JT Rice, the former running back at Stanford. Let's move on to number 6. All right, guys. you know we can't do a Gridiron show without having a quarterback. So we got Charles Ebert, and he's coming out of the University of Texas. He is a Longhorn, and this is a big, huge pocket passer. 6'3", 230-plus pounds. This guy's projected to go early in the first round. I think a lot of that will come down to how he throws on his pro day. But this is a big statue of a quarterback. Now, we know the type of guys that come out of University of Texas. You think Texas, you think Vince Young. But that is not what Charles Ebert is. He's not that guy that's going to run. He's not going to get you a bunch of plays with his legs. He is going to move in the pocket to create time for him to look downfield and use that cannon of a right arm. And Tone Dog, he's got one of the biggest arms coming out of University of Texas. They're talking about that they've ever seen at the University of Texas. Talk about Charles Ebert.
Yeah, I don't know about ever seen, but you hit it right on the head. 6'3", 232 pounds. This guy is a pure pocket passer coming out of Tom Herman's system. This guy, they run a pro style kind of spread thing over there. And if you're watching the tape right now, you're watching him play against Washington State, which is a Pac-12 school, which goes against passing quarterbacks all the time. And this guy is making it look easy. He's got easy reads. He's got great touch on the deep ball, as you can see. He's putting the ball where the guys can make a run after catch. This guy is just an all-around great, good quarterback. Again, not so much happy feet, but this guy will stand in the pocket and make all the right throws. He can make every throw in the NFL and make it look easy. So I would say Charles Ebert is definitely a top 5 pick at QB.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And SJ, it's important that he goes to the right system. You know, you got guys that love their running quarterback. This is not a Tampa Bay Buccaneer guy, but this is a Minnesota Viking type quarterback. Stand in the pocket, find that open receiver, and sling it down the field. How important is it that he goes to the right system?
I think that's key because, with his, he's kind of a solid QB all around. Good throw power, B+. Good throw accuracy, short, B+. Throw accuracy, mid, B. So he's not going to wow you doing anything, but he's going to do everything solid enough to win. So he definitely needs the right system. I don't know if Texas has produced any superstars at QB with Vince Young, Colt McCoy. So he doesn't have a lot of people to reach out to for help. So he might be on his own a little bit as far as learning the game. But if he falls to, let's say, the Bengals, who's looking for a new QB, not really satisfied with Huey, he would be solid. But if he falls to someone who throws a lot of picks, his confidence and motivation will decrease. So, he definitely needs the right system to succeed.
Yeah, this is not a Kansas City Chief quarterback.
No.
This is a Cincinnati Bengal. I like that. Shout out to the OG Mo Booker. We love you to death here on the Gridiron, but this is not your quarterback. Pass on this guy. But this would be a great fit for Addy 5 and those Cincinnati Bengals. And Huey just hasn't got the job done, but that's another show. We'll have to talk about Huey.
Right.
But Ebert would be a good fit in that Cincinnati Bengal offense. Stand in the pocket, find the open guy, sling it down the field. And you're right. This guy, he's not Tom Brady, but he definitely is going to get the job done. And the great thing is if you're bringing him here in this draft, Tone, you got 2 seasons basically to groom him to get ready to be that guy when it counts, when everything is on the line, when all the chips are on the table. Charles Ebert could be your guy to lead you to that top 10 pick and get the team that you want in high stakes.
Yeah, I think this guy, he was a starter, 3-4 year starter at Texas. So this guy can actually come in week 1 and start for you. The hope is that he actually just blows the combine off the water and comes in as a superstar. Other than that, there's really not too much room for this guy to fall. So I would even say, he doesn't even need to throw at his pro day, honestly. This guy, everything's been put on tape already. Again, this guy, 3-4 year starter, pro style spread offense. Just looking forward to see what he does on the field. Again, SJ spoke in that B+ throw power, but this guy's going to get you in and out of situations, not with his feet, but definitely with his arm.
Yeah, no doubt. Very accurate quarterback. All right, guys, that's the only quarterback on the list, and he was number 6. We got one more prospect to talk about, and I know I said Percy Martin was the best left tackle in this draft, but if Percy Martin is 1, Clint Croom is 1A. And this is the kid coming out of University of Miami, DU. And guys, listen to this kid, 6'6", 312 pounds. In his college career, this kid gave up 2 sacks, 2 in his college career. That is just crazy numbers. Tone Dog, talk about Clint Cripplewicks.
This is the OG Crip. Hey, this is one of my actually favorite guys coming out of this draft. Again, Mark Richt's system at Miami. This guy's a monster. He actually played center and guard before, which makes him like just so versatile. He's got great arm strength, and he's just got a nasty motor. Even though he's a left tackle, he kind of forgets sometimes and thinks that he's a guard. So he wants to mold you. So he's actually pretty good in the run game, solid on the passing game. And I mean, this guy's a monster. Again, 6'6", 312 pounds of straight nastiness. Yeah,
and you're talking SJ. This guy's got B+ rating in impact. He's got B rating in pass block. He's got B- in run block. Both the left tackles we talked about today, both Percy Martin and Clint Croom, they're both need some work in the run game, are average in the run game, but need some work. But this is a kid that can come in and, like Tone Dog said, SJ, he can play guard, he can play center, he can play left tackle. How important is that to have a guy that can come in and just plug into where your biggest need is?
That's important because some teams will adjust their offensive line all season, like our boy Underrated. I don't know if you guys ever noticed how often his offensive linemen switch positions, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. So a system like that where he can play left tackle this week and depending on the matchup, play guard the following week. And, the third week he's at center. So a system like that, he could definitely help because he's going to be solid no matter where he plays. He has the best name by far in this draft class. If they say his name on the game, I'm going to be sad because I would love to hear that, during my game. So,
could you imagine that? Yeah.
Cripplewicks. Jeez, that's the best name ever, yeah.
And Tone Dog, this was a team captain for the University of Miami, and that's not very common for an offensive lineman coming out of the U to be a team captain, but was a unanimous decision to be a captain, was a team guy first. One of those guys, when there was a scuffle on the field, you saw Clint right in the middle of it, protecting his teammates. Yeah. Talk about how important that is when you have a left tackle that's ready to go to war from day one.
Yeah, Clint, super crit, man. This guy is a leader on and off the field. He does all the right things. This guy is definitely somebody the GMs are going to fall in love with when they go through the interview process. Yeah. He's going to blow him off the water. I mean, this guy he's a what they call like a dancing teddy bear, man. Even though he's mean, 6'6", 312 pounds, he loves to catch a butterfly, bro.
Right. He called out assignments on the field. He broke up fights in the locker room. He bailed teammates out of jail. He did it all. Like, he's the greatest teammate ever.
Yeah, the ultimate teammate. And that's what everybody's saying about Clint. Just the ultimate team guy. And really a guy that could care less whether his name is up in lights. He just wants the most successful team. And that's really what you want in your offensive linemen because they do the dirty work. They're the guys that make everybody else look good, and they never get the credit. And Clint's one of those guys where he just didn't care. If we're winning ball games, Clint was happy. And so that's the kind of guy you want to bring in. And Tone Dog, can we see the left tackles maybe go 3-4 this draft, 2-3 this draft? Both guys, top 5 guys.
Yeah, again, expert, and you know how everything kind of circles back to the beginning. So definitely want to reiterate that this draft right here, besides the draft that we just had, is a very, very important one. So if you're looking to protect your quarterback for at least these next 2 years in high stakes, Clint is definitely one of the guys you should take a look at. Will they go 3-4 in that order? I'm pretty sure, again, Charles might go pretty high, but these tackles, they're definitely going to be needed. If you're looking to make the move in high stakes, protect your quarterback, look for the super Clint.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, guys. 7 draft prospects coming to the Dynasty. We just went through them. I expect all these guys to be top half of the first round. I don't see any one of these guys falling. Now, the one X factor in this group is, of course, JT Rice. If he has any other instances before the draft, we're going to have an issue with JT Rice maybe falling. But other than that, this is a top-loaded draft, guys. If we look at it, lots and lots of talent. Going to be able, a lot of teams are going to improve right at the right time as we get prepared for high stakes. All right, guys. SJ, what you got for the Dynasty before we get out of here?
I don't know, but I think these left tackles might fall. When has the left tackle gone as high as they should? Should they go high? Yeah, but will they? I don't think so. You might get snag him in mid-first round.
Wow, that would be crazy if one of these left tackles falls to 15, 16, 17. That would be crazy to me.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I would love it. A few of the guys with above 500 plus, record would love it. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna have to hold SJ to that, man. Maybe we can make a bet on camera, SJ.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm not saying they shouldn't go high. They won't because.
Yeah, SJ knows the pedigree of the Dynasty. I'm telling you guys, they want that flash guy. They want that Charles Ebert. They want that running back. They want that wide receiver.
Frank Herman. I shut his ass down the other day. So better draft left tackle.
All right, guys. Tone, what you got for the Dynasty before we get out of here?
Hey, guys, just keep it clean. The rules committee is always watching. If it's not one of us, it's somebody else. Promise you that, bro.
Yeah,
I have one thing I want to say.
All right, go ahead, SJ.
If you cannot play your game, if you out of the country, out of town, getting married, just say it. You can't play. Playing the games. I
can play from 3 to 3:30 today.
My wife is expecting a twins C-section, but if the doctor say she's good, then stop it. You can't play. Keep it moving. Stop holding everything up, man.
No doubt. Let's keep it moving.
And all right, one time, real quick, one shout out to my boy, the LA Chargers, who actually did get married this weekend. Congratulations.
No doubt. Congrats to the homie. All right, guys, one last thing from us. This is actually the co-commish team here on the Gridiron today. But one last thing from us. Guys, don't forget, tune in to the DML Network. We will be at EA Play in June, and this will be your one-stop shop for all things EA Play. This has been the Gridiron. Of course, our sponsor is Uncle D's Wing Sauce. Tired of those tasteless wings? Put some Uncle D's in your mouth. It's your boy Expert, and we out.